and had him make a promise to her that he would never drink alcohol in his life.
The next step, step 3, would then be to make a promise, right? You want to set the intention to work it out.
Experience, but it's just sort of you do one thing and you make a promise and then everything in your life.
It's not enough to make a promise and a resolution with good intention. You need to understand what's actually.
They make a promise that they can't keep.
Times did God make a promise to people? 7,487. That will get you through.
Promise. You should uphold that promise in the end.
Okay. A deal is a deal, in other words.
So we get out there and make a promise. We're going to grow this division by X%.
You don't have to make a promise. But if you do.
And he allowed him to go ahead and make a promise like that? And he didn't even say anything?
If you're a professional, make a promise and keep it. Love it.
Now make a promise that this year or next year.
And I think that to go and make a promise of and a pledge of this.
Fun. I will never, I'm going to make a promise on Daily V right now. Never. As I go, when I buy the jets and have.
My hero, after he makes a promise like this, he drives into New York, he picks her up, he drops her off.
When I make a promise and you accept it, we thereby enter a deontic relationship.
But I want you to make sure that you make a promise with me today.
And just make a promise to the public that from day one, 100% of their money.
And then she asked him to make a promise. The promise was never.
Here, to this campus, to make a promise. It's a few months into our campaign. I stood at the University of Iowa Hospital, right around the corner.
To make a promise that, hey, I can pay you this, but I promise you as soon as we get.
The maxim you set for yourself is when I make a promise and it's going to be a pain.
To the goal, not whether we make a promise today that we're at there when we can.
Commit, make a promise to the UN that aid would get to Iraq?
So in the May 17th,
And let me make a promise to all of them and to these courageous.
Something. What we want you to do is we want you to make a promise, and by doing that, you will make your mark in history.
Absolutely.
Step at a time. You make a promise and then fulfill the promise. You say, we'll deliver this.
Make a promise to yourself, commit to it, and do all in your power to achieve. Gradually increase your goal.
To make a promise to live a greener lifestyle. To exhibit some of the habits you.
But after talking, he made me make a promise. And that promise was that
should make a promise that the rest of the book will keep. So,
the question then is, to whom did he make a promise? And the answer is no one exists.
And make a promise to not